So does Barcelona have a chance to go to the round of 16? I don't think so, right? Not a chance, but maybe. I would probably give it like a 98% chance that we get knocked out from this Champions League tournament this year. And I know that sounds very toxic. I know that does sound like very frustrating to hear, but that is the reality of Barcelona's situation within the Champions League. Now look, I think that this week Barcelona and Victoria Pleasant are going to be reuniting, right? I think that many of us are going to become Victoria Pleasant fans this week, and mainly because we need Pleasant to beat Inter Milan or to tie against Inter Milan and to take away the points from Inter, right? We're going to be praying that Inter drop points, because if that does end up happening, then our chances of going to the next round will greatly increase. And let me explain exactly what I do mean. Now look, looking at this run that Barcelona is having, looking at our current form, looking at how well we have been playing, we want to see this Barcelona team go into the round of 16 and maybe potentially in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and maybe even the finals. This Barcelona team brings a lot of inspiration to many Barcelona fans, but what exactly needs to happen for Barcelona to go to the round of 16? And here is going to be a picture to show you guys exactly right what does need to happen. Inter Milan does need to tie against Victoria Pleasant 1-1. Barcelona has to beat Bayern Munich, whether it's 2-1, maybe 3-0, who knows? These are just random scorelines. And then Barcelona also has to win Victoria Pleasant, whether it's 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, and then Inter Milan has to yet again drop even more points against Bayern Munich when they do visit Bayern at their home, and it could be 2-2 or maybe even 3-3 or maybe even 1-1. But the point is that if the outcomes end up like this, if Inter actually go on a tie against Victoria Pleasant and go on a tie against Bayern Munich, this is what the table would look like. Bayern Munich would receive 13 points, Barcelona would receive 10 points and come into second place. Inter Milan will go into third place and receive 9 points, and then we have Victoria Pleasant, who will receive 1 point after tying against Inter Milan. Now this would be a miracle, right? For Barcelona to go into the round of 16 in this way. It would be a miracle. Like I have said, there's like a 1% chance that Barcelona goes into the round of 16 and like a 99% chance that Barcelona are eliminated. Now the end result of this could look a lot different. This might not actually happen. Most likely we might see Inter Milan beating Victoria Pleasant, maybe 2-0, maybe even 3-0. And once Inter Milan does win against Victoria Pleasant, which will be played 2 hours before Barcelona face Bayern Munich, there might be a chance that Barcelona go into this game against Bayern and already be out after seeing Inter Milan beat Victoria Pleasant. All Inter Milan need to do is win against Pleasant and they are in. And this situation has probably already been assessed and communicated by Xavi Hernandez. He has spoken probably to the players and saying, hey look, we have a huge chance of coming out before we even enter this match against Bayern Munich. But that does not mean that we should not be trying against Bayern. We need to go into this game and give it our all, especially knowing that this game is going to be at the Camp Nou. If Barcelona do end up leaving the group stages and are knocked out, we better leave with a lot of dignity. And this will be greatly helpful, right? Because if Barcelona actually beat Bayern Munich, whether it's 2-1, 3-0, then Barcelona can carry this type of momentum into the league. And so it would not hurt for Barcelona to win against Bayern, even though it might not mean anything in the end. But it would tell these players that they are on the correct path, because I want these players, right, when it comes to Pedri, Gavi, Frankie, Ansu, Ferran Torres, Lewandowski, Dembele, Rafinha, Koundé, Eric Garcia, Alejandro Balde, all of these players, I want them to really feel like their hard work is being greatly appreciated, that all of these hours that they do put in when it comes to like studying the games, looking at clips, looking at videos, I want them to know that not all of this is going to go into the trash can. All of this is going to be paying them dividends in the future, and to not give up and to look into the future, because that is what's going to give you confidence throughout this process that we are going through. Because right now, like I've said before, we are on the correct path. We will eventually get to that position where Barcelona is going to be the best team in the world, but this is part of the process. Within the path of winning, we have to take small micro losses. So here is going to be my conclusion and what's going to basically put us into the next phase of this video. In order for Barcelona to go into the round of 16, it's basically within the hands of Victoria Pleasant. And we also, within ourselves, we have to do our best to beat Bayern Munich. Because can you imagine if Victoria Pleasant beats Inter Milan and we lose against Bayern? That would be the most embarrassing thing ever in the history of like Barcelona's history. And I remember seeing many reports after Barcelona were beaten against Bayern 2-0, many reports have stated that Barcelona were really looking forward towards bringing Bayern Munich to the Camp Nou because Barcelona really wanted that rematch. They really felt like they were the better team on that night. Now that is what's going to lead us towards the next question. How can Barcelona beat this Bayern Munich? Because look, individually within our defensive line our defense is weaker. We have lost Christensen. We have lost Ronald Araujo. These were two players that did feature in that match against Bayern Munich. And most importantly, we have also lost Sergi Roberto. He is going to be out, and he will be out for at the very least 1 month. And it sucks, right? Because Sergi Roberto, he has been in a amazing form and has been that partner in crime with Dembele, really building that chemistry on the right flank. And to lose this player, now we can really feel the absence within the right back position, because we don't really have someone very reliable in the right back position. Yes, we could say Bellerin, but he barely does have any experience on playing with Barcelona consistently. And who knows, Bellerin could do very well against Bayern Munich if he does end up playing. But as of now, it is so clear that Xavi Hernandez needs to make a huge decision in the January transfer window, and that is what right back should they be signing in order to prepare for the last 4 to 5 months of the season. Now, when it comes to how Barcelona are going to be lined up on that defensive line, most likely we're probably going to be seeing Bellerin starting on the right back position, Koundé and Marcos Alonso as the center back duo, and Alejandro Balde as the left back. No question, right? Alejandro Balde will be starting. You look at his form, he has been amazing. There is no reason for Xavi Hernandez to sit down this player. And then when it comes to Alonso and Koundé, I think that Alonso should be starting. I know that many are going to be saying Eric Garcia should be starting, but I just feel like Alonso is better positioned and can position himself very well when it comes to defending those crosses from Bayern. Alonso has shown that so many times that he does know how to intercept the ball, and he has been amazing against Inter Milan. He has been amazing against Bayern Munich. So mentally, he is always ready for big games, and I think that his height is going to be helping when it comes to those aerial duels. His head game is amazing. Yo, that sounded so wild. And again, like I've said, the interceptions, he has also been amazing, right? Like, he is superior to Eric Garcia when it comes to the interceptions. You can see that Alonso has a total of 6.51 interceptions per 90, while Eric Garcia has a total of 4.24 interceptions per 90. Now, let's move on towards the next phase and let's talk about the attack, because now the next question is going to be this: how is Barcelona going to be attacking Bayern? What does Barcelona need to do in order to be very successful and to create those opportunities? And the one player that should for sure be starting is not Lewandowski, it is not Ansu Fati, it is not Rafinha, it is Dembele. You look at this stat here and you can see that only Messi, 19, and Kevin De Bruyne, 16, have more assists than Dembele, who has 15 in Europe's top 5 leagues in 2022. And 3 of those assists of that 15 that he does have so far this year came 2 days ago on Sunday against Athletic Club. So when we talk about who should be the player that needs to be starting within that front 3, it is Dembele. He is the one that can find Lewandowski in the box, that can find someone like Ansu or Rafinha or Ferran Torres inside the box. And we're also going to need to give Dembele a lot of space. Like, if we want Dembele to be effective, we need to give this player an area where he can be the most effective, very similar to how Dembele was playing against Athletic Club, because every time he is left alone and isolated on the right side, he does a lot of damage, and we need that against Bayern Munich. So if we look at this example here, we can see exactly how Dembele can be left isolated and what we should be doing against Bayern. You can see that Barcelona were overloading their left side. Dembele was alone. You can see there on the bottom right corner. You look at the next frame, Pedri receives the ball. Athletic Club have no idea that Dembele is on the right side and left alone. And then you look at the next frame and Gavi makes this very smart run that does open space between the defensive line and the midfield line. And the only reason why Gavi made that run higher up the pitch is because he knew that he was going to widen the pitch, open a gap for Pedri to see and to pass that ball into Dembele's feet. And then you can see on the last frame, the ball goes successfully across the pitch and towards Dembele. And you look at how much space is around that ball. That space was created by Gavi. So we have to do the exact same thing against Bayern Munich. We have to have players like Gavi and Pedri making those smart runs that lead towards making open spaces in order for Dembele to attack too. Because one of the biggest problems that we did see in that previous match against Bayern is that Dembele had no room to play. Every time he received the ball, he was very, very tightly marked. So a lot of this is going to be talked about even more and in greater depth in the next video, which will be the pre-match preview between Barcelona and Bayern Munich. It should be a very interesting game, and that is going to be wrapping up today's Barcelona daily news. I will see you guys in the next video.